Wow. I can get used to this. Wow, I got my own courtesan. People are actually listening for once. I can walk around and just be me. I mean, some kind of weird, elevated version of myself, but maybe that could be me. Making a difference, talking to people, being all important, and yeah. But why do I then feel like such a poser? And this aberrant quasar, being all ceremonious and stuff, but it don't mean anything. I can see his eyes. He's telling me to keep working for the hegemony, but what's behind all that? And people just want to line up next to us, looking cool next to us, the people that survived. The people that survived, we didn't even know what we did. What are we supposed to be famous for? I did a whole bunch of shit in my life that no one took the slightest notice of. And now this. Yay, we survived. And we're awesome in our fancy costumes. I gotta try and make something after this. Make us stand together against the threat, I don't know. Be some kind of icon of tolerance? Is that what they want me to be? Is that what I want me to be? No, I wanna go back to Al-Walim. I wanna see what we can build. It's so close now. So close. This is Red Moon Roleplaying.
Coriolis Cycle 63. Segment of the Messenger. Normalcy has returned to the Third Horizon after the Cyclade celebrations are over. Hagglers flock around rugs and stalls on the core plaza, once again brimming with assorted baubles. Barefoot pilgrims shuffle up the esplanade of the icons toward temples in the icon city on Mira under the ever-blossoming cherry trees. Algolan reactionaries gaze up at the spires and skyscrapers overlooking the slums of Akandar o Sharif and start planning their next move. Meanwhile, the Martyr Council convenes on the Belitchery scrollship in Zalos for urgent discussions. And far from the light of civilization, something awakens in the shadows of the cadaver clocks, ready to rekindle the flames of old. The Red Moon exits the portal from Rigel to Dabaran, this time not needing to shadow jump with the bulk freighters. The Zenithian hegemony pays your way now. "Welcome to Dabaran, Sahib," Suleiman says as you exit stasis. But that is not where we begin. We're going to jump back in time to you receiving this mission aboard the Zenithian hegemony flagship, the Asarita. You're sitting in Corral's briefing room, looking out at the hegemony's fleet in orbit around Kua. Massive battleships and destroyers in the distance, squadrons of fighters flying in formation. The fleet is on alert. While impressive, you both know that the Legion and the Order of the Pariah can muster much larger and more powerful forces. The hegemony, well, they have grand designs and high-quality ships, but they do lack numbers. To make anything happen, they will need to work with others, build alliances, or perhaps just build more ships. Chai is served, and the sweet smell of cinnamon fills the room. Corel brings up a presentation on the screen. His adjutant, Sana Aristides, hands him a folder. Her hair is platinum blonde, and she's wearing heavy dark eyeshadow in classic Zenithian style. On Corel's desk, you've noticed a family photo from years ago, before you all headed off to pursue your higher education. Where do you have your copy of that photo, Carlo? And what do we see on it?
I mean, honestly, I have no idea. I think at this point, my copy of that photo has long been lost. I've done so much travelling, going back and forth. I look at the photo and try and remember where mine is, and I have no idea. Maybe did I have it on me when I went to prison that one time? Maybe I lost it there. It might have been on the ship, the Red Moon, somewhere, but no, I can't remember. For me right now, bar my gun and my coat, I don't think I have that many possessions that I consider actually important to me.
Yes. What is it that we see on this family photo? How does the family look like?
Well, I suppose father and mother will be at the front looking awfully stern. And us 4 children, dressed in our finest house clothes, just standing in a line. It's not as if family photos on Kua are filled with smiling, happy people doing little silly things with their fingers. We are a noble family. It's important to keep up appearances.
That it is. Speaking of appearances, you can feel sweat running down your back. You're still a bit winded after having rushed aboard the Red Moon as you were departing Coriolis. Corel speaks. Well, it's good to see you again after our, shall we say, interesting Cyclade celebrations. We have a lot of work to do. But how about we first recap what we know? And he motions to the both of you to enjoy the chai. You uncovered proof that the Nazarene sacrifice is back, and that it was a butterfly ship that took down the Zephyra, using weapons technology not native to the Third Horizon, instead matching remains from the Portal Wars. Now, it stands to reason that whatever's happened in Tawan is related to this, and that the butterfly ships may be responsible. This means that we are in all likelihood experiencing an incursion by forces from the First Horizon, something that hasn't happened in a century. Meanwhile, the Order of the Pariah are clearly playing a role in all this, possibly working in league with the Nazarene and the First Horizon, or simply looking to use the chaos as an opportunity to make a power play to further their own political goals. Either way, they too are clearly a lethal threat, and in opposition to our interests, as our family has certainly experienced firsthand. And he nods to you, Carlo.
I simply nod back.
What we need to do is to continue gathering evidence and to foil any plans of the Nazarene and the Order of the Pariah. Now, fortunately, the Asterban have leads for us, and the captain has asked me to lead the efforts to counter these threats. The Asarita is mighty, and once we have located the Nazarene home base, we will bring all our military might to bear. But for now, we're hunting insurgents, terrorist cells. We need a small footprint of loyal and motivated people that are inventive and have a proven track record. He smiles. And that is where you come into the picture. And he points to the screen. And a photo of a middle-aged man is brought up there. Your mission. This is Amron Dar Esfanjar. He's an ally of ours on Dabaran. He's a sultan controlling vast plantations and a marble quarry in the lowlands north of Darbari. He's got a small militia, a couple of warships, and a sand-sailing gravcraft. Nothing massive, but also nothing to scoff at. His son, Vahid, and his daughter Lala are enrolled at the Fermal Garud Mathematical Institute in the city of Dada. And photos of the 2 students are brought up on the screen. They look like what you would expect that the scions of a sultanate would look like, pampered and refined. Both are students with excellent reputations, but the son went missing a couple of weeks ago in the lead up to the Cyclade. This happened after a visit to the Dome of the Icons in the temple city of Lotus. The local guards, the Latifs, they have found no clues at all, meaning that they are either inept, corrupt, or both, which is why Dar Esfanjar has reached out to us as a personal favor, one we would love to collect in order to call upon his forces later on. The Asterban have also intercepted reports of youngsters from several wealthy families going missing, and there are even rumors of a cult of some kind being active in the area. Now, I know, so far this sounds way below something we would dispatch the heroes of Uharu to handle, right?
Heroes of Uharu. Yeah. yeah. I mean, we would have important stuff to do, right? I sit there and I idly just stir my chai. No, sorry. Please go on.
What if I told you that a butterfly ship was spotted here a segment ago?
I perk up. Oh, yeah?
It could just be a coincidence. And if so, this will be an easy missing persons case that will strengthen our alliances and presence on Dabaran. Well, if it's not, however, then we are possibly dealing with a cell of the Nazarene sacrifice, doing something in the vicinity of one of the holiest sites in the horizon. And he looks to you, Carlo, as well.
Well, I suppose we'll be going off and looking for some missing people. I suppose we have experience in that. It was so simple last time.
Well, what do we know? Like, are they just, do we have any idea if they had any correspondence with someone before this happened?
And as you ask that question, Sana puts her finger to her ear and seems to be receiving a message. Apologies, it's a priority bulletin update. He flips the channel on the screen to show this live update. Shortly after the death of Council Member Almas, there are reports of a fire spreading at the sanatorium. Live from the core, our reporter Arya Buddha knows more. Thank you, Jabal. What we're seeing now is people left with nothing after the mysticides taking the law into their own hands. As of late, Governor Dragosian's office has been accused of not taking the situation seriously enough, thus resulting in the murder of Sister Almas and the recent riots in the core. The fire at the sanatorium appears to have spread from the main building to the gardens, and fire suppression drones are on site to prevent the flames from reaching the Infoteca or the spire. The adjudicators have dispersed the rioters, but the casualties are nearing 3 figures, and Sister Roba, head of the sanatorium, is in talks with the governor about potential repercussions. And with this shocking bulletin update, we will go back in time a little bit further. Carlo. Mouse, they need to see you. You'll know what it's about when you get there. Elena's request had been short, asking you to meet an important friend in the Mulukad district on Coriolis, a potpourri of shady alleys and old buildings housing restaurants, cantinas, bars, and gambling dens. You were specifically asked to find number 5 at the back rooms at the restaurant Al-Qadr. Al-Qadr is famed for its all-red interior, and like all of Mulukad, it's a hedonistic place that is all about excitement and enjoying life in the here and now. There's no need for a future in Mulukad. You're standing outside the door to number 5, and you can hear music played on the 9-string charu lyre, soft laughter of courtesans, and moans of ecstasy. What do you do?
Well, I suppose I'm envious. I'd quite like to join all the other people around me. Seems like a swell place. My style to a T. But one must do as one's told, so I guess I simply keep a low profile, look around, and wait to see if this person is here at this location.
You wait, and the door opens, and half-undressed courtesans exit, passing you by, lightly caressing your shoulders and giggling as they exit the room. Please, come in. A female voice calls for you.
I do a little bow and slink in.
In an opulent chair of first-come design at the back of the room is a woman. She's wearing a golden Zenithian mask, but is otherwise completely naked. She stands up as you approach. Well met, Ezamzenone. I have heard so much about you, from the captain himself even. She must be referring to Abarin Kassar. She moves in close to whisper in your ear, and you can smell the scent of her perfume. Make it look real. They're watching. She whispers and moves your hand to her buttocks. What do you do?
Well, that's not exactly something that's difficult to do. I know how to make things look real. After all, most of my life is performance. That's how these things are, so sure. I'll do as I'm expected to do.
There's something very important and very dangerous that needs to be done by someone who can be trusted. Trusted absolutely. She gently caresses your chin. Such people are few and far between, Izam. The hegemony have need of you. I have need of you. And she somewhat violently pushes you forward onto a bed and is now sitting on top of you, her naked chest just inches away. She moves down as if to kiss you, with the mask still on, and then touches the side of your head. Reality flashes. You're experiencing a proxy trip. Not one of those illicit erotic ones that the Syndicate put out. This is more of a simulation, snapshot. You're watching from the point of view of someone. The sleeves of this person are consistent with a hegemonist uniform. The person is studying CCTV footage. On the screen, they see a woman in Zelosian robes. You recognize her. How could you forget her from the Cyclade celebrations? That's Sister Almas, the Order of the Pariah's representative in the Council of Factions. Yes, it is her. She's speaking to a man also in Celosian robes, and another woman. And there's something about that woman. You recognize her. Your mind goes back to that fateful day, the Dolkassar betrothal. The soothsayer. The one that you saw out in the city, and then inside of the hall where the betrothal was taking place. You saw her face right before all hell broke loose. She must have been the assassin. The one who killed your family. The screen turns off and you can see the face of the person who recorded this in the reflection of the screen. They look Zenithian all right, but you can't place the face. As the proxy trip ends, the woman moans in feigned ecstasy and slumps onto you. She whispers in your ear again. Tomorrow night, our men will be waiting at the sanatorium. We don't start, but we always finish, right? They'll get what is coming to them.
I nod. I feel a sense of anticipation. Could this be all the proof we need? If so, then this is going to be a very, very justified move.
She rolls to your side and removes her mask, revealing long curled dark hair and refined Zenithian features, smiling at you in feigned afterglow. Her eyes are emerald green. Oh, how rude of me. I haven't even properly introduced myself. I'm Denai Astir. And you, Izam? You don't have to go yet, unless you really want to. I'm left unfulfilled. Astir. The eyes of Astir, the Astruban. You know her name now. She's the sister of Lenove Astir, the leader of the organization. And the reflection? That was Lenove herself. So Carlo, Izam, did you stay with Denai, or did you go? And did you join the men by the sanatorium?
I confess this was a bit of a choice to make, because if she's the sister of the head of the Astruban, I'm not entirely sure I want to get that close to the Astruban. In fact, if anything, I spent an awfully long time trying to avoid their notice, especially with my little, well, unofficial holiday. And yet, do I think this could be useful to me? If I was to ingratiate myself to someone like this, could that actually benefit my family, or could it hinder us?
Well, that's the thing that's difficult to know. What would be clear is that it would give you more opportunities to be very close with a person who is privy to a lot of secrets of the horizon. Meanwhile, you wouldn't necessarily have anything to lose, unless you feel some form of commitment to someone else, that this would be going against some other promises you have made. It's completely a choice up to you what you do in this moment.
Well, that's an interesting way of putting things, but the truth is I haven't made a promise to anyone. We're talking of Nadina. I'm very fond of Nadina. I also have no idea if I'll ever see her again. Besides, life is for enjoyment. I think I will stay. This could be enjoyable, and more importantly, very, very useful. Again, I have tried to skirt responsibility, but if this helps me get those Order of the Pariah bastards, well then, I'll do whatever I need to. So yes, I'll stay, why not? I'll simply say, well, Miss Astir, I'm more than happy to serve the hegemony, the Astruban. After all, some people out there are trying to take the Third Horizon from us, aren't they? We can't let that happen.
No, we can't. And did you join the men by the sanatorium the following day?
I did. Armed and ready.
Then you can still smell the smoke from the fire in your nostrils, Carlo, aboard the Red Moon. And we will make another cut. And now we are, again, outside the portal station in Dabaran. Pig, what are you and the boy doing on the ship now that you've left stasis?
So, at this point, since we, what we're supposed to be doing is getting ready for the mission and start looking for these missing people, these noble youths, whatever. I guess we just get out a bit slowly, a little bit raw. I don't feel particularly rushed or in a work mood, like let's get everything sorted and stuff. Maybe I would have if we were back on Kua. Maybe particularly so if we were in Bays and getting down to the real work with Al-Walim. All this starts to feel a bit like distractions. So I'm kind of taking my time getting out of the stasis pod and with the boy and play around with him and the friend bots that we've continued making. Just see how everything lines up after the travel. Put them all out and kind of look around the ship for those that have walked their own way. Because some of them now, they're going over the place. And we made one of them that is programmed to start collecting like smaller bits of debris that is around the ship, and it's now like making a little hoard. So it's kind of interesting to just let's see what Jazmir, that we call it, has now collected this time while we were traveling.
Yes, and there's all kinds of debris and dirt, and there's things that you lost on the ship way back when you first gone onto it together with Farouk. Yes, there's an old thing that used to belong to Farouk, actually. What is that?
Yeah, I do find like the lid to a sort of snuff box. I'm not sure what was actually in it from the start, but Farouk seemed to... I just saw him have it from time to time, looking at it and putting things in it. And as I find it first, that I just see the pile of stuff if we go over and we laugh. I just pick it up and I don't realize what it is. Like, I feel like I've seen this before. And we sit there and look at it. It's very nicely painted in bright colors. And as I realize that it's Farouk's, I just kind of, I feel happy. Like this used to be the captain's. That's incredible. I think these things are actually doing something useful. And I just look around. I don't know where Jazmir is right now. Probably picking up stuff from another part of the ship. But this is fun. Do you wanna have this? I look over at Doomlord.
The boy nods, and he too looks very, very happy and proud that these things that you've built, that they are fulfilling their role and that they're finding these lost treasures from the ship.
Yeah, that's really fun, actually. Imagine if we did another one and programmed it to make their hoard on the other side of the ship, and they'd start a little kind of collecting war and start taking things of each other. What do you think of that?
He looks at you with anticipation, as though that's a fantastic idea and one that we should definitely make happen.
Yeah. We will get to that. I guess we better try and get ready for getting out of here and getting on to what we're supposed to be doing, eh?
You know, Aisha is listening to the radio chatter and is talking to portal control. She points to the screen. Another bulletin update. Busy times. We interrupt our scheduled broadcast with breaking news. After a series of threats, the Order has finally acted. According to our reports, the Imahalat monastery cruiser arrived in Kua about an hour ago with her weapons hot. The Legion's fleets, protecting the leaders of the horizon from lunatic attacks like this, neutralized the threat, thanks to swift and decisive action from Captain Ariana Daraben of the Legion cruiser Ramara. The Council is in emergency negotiations over retaliations and eventual second strikes. False rumors and opportunistic propaganda spread from Rimward Reach by the Corsair Queen known as the Red Spider risk escalating the conflict further. Until we know more, the Colonial Agency advises all free traders and dignitaries to refrain from visiting Solos and to avoid contact with the Order without a military escort. And there's another message that's audio only with an image of a red spider that appears. Seems to have sort of been bolted onto the bulletin update on the probe, likely a hack. The Imahalat, a ship on a peaceful rescue mission to liberate Zolosian citizens from oppression on Coriolis and Kua, is now being used in the most vile way by this Nethian information war machine. The truth is this. The Legion fired first, and in doing so, destroyed a ship with a proud lineage, a historical treasure, coming in peace. Captain Ariana Daraben is no hero. She is a warmonger. She and the rest of the Ramaros crew should face a war crimes tribunal. And the transmission from the Red Spider terminates. Aisha looks at the screen and then she looks at you, Pig. I've heard that truth often is the first casualty in war. Guess that's what they meant.
Yeah. How are we gonna get anyone to start working together with them being torn apart like this? Accusing this and that. I feel like the task is completely insurmountable.
Carlo, you've also seen this.
I just let out a little huff and get back to drinking whatever I was drinking, as I say. I mean, of all the people it could happen to, are we that bothered? It's the Order. They had their chance, Pig. This is what happens. This is what happens when you stick to your guns and say we're going to destroy the Third Horizon no matter what.
Yeah, I know. It's... I couldn't see anyone trying to talk sense into the Order. I don't love... You know I don't love Zenithians and what you guys stand for and all the past stuff. And the Order... Yeah, no. By now, I start to feel like they're the ones that are unreasonable.
Exactly. We didn't fire the first shot. They did. They attacked the mystics. They attacked the emissaries. Yes, it is, Pig. Come on, I go over and I give you a friendly pat on the shoulder. It is important, Pig. Where would you and I be if all the people who shot at us first, we didn't shoot back? Dead. We'd be dead. We're only not because we fought back. And that's what we have to keep doing. Until they finally are dealt with. Maybe when they finally admit that they've been involved in the Nazarene all this time, and finally maybe say, oh dear, sorry, that was the wrong choice, let's help you take them down, then we can talk about forgiveness. But until then, no. You remember what happened at that big party, that the former Sister Almus looked me dead in the eye and denied any allegations. Dead in the eye. She could have sorted it all then, she didn't. This is what happens.
Yeah, but they also think that we're somehow responsible for the loss of their fleet. So, at this point, it's not strange that they're acting hostile, right? It's just... Without bringing anything back, like showing something, or making them believe that, they're just gonna keep coming like that. I mean, they lost a lot, right? I don't know if there's... I don't feel... Do I feel sympathy? I'm confused.
You really shouldn't, Pig. They didn't feel it for you when they were trying to kill you.
Yeah, well...
And one thing I can safely say, and I smile, is that my side hasn't tried to kill you or me yet. Have they?
Yeah. I mean... Yeah, I guess. I just shrug and I pick up a fig and start playing with it.
And Carlo, have you said or will you say anything to Pig about your extracurricular activities with the Astrobahn?
No. It's not necessary. If it becomes necessary, I won't deny it, but at this point, no. Besides, I know for a fact that Pig has their own private dealings, And I don't need to know about those, so why should they need to know about mine? It's better this way, simpler.
Indeed, it is only fair. Pig, we will now go back in time for you as well. Aisha is speaking to you during one of your hair braiding sessions. Maybe a week ago. Pig, can I ask you for a favor?
Yeah, of course.
I wanna go and see a few of my old friends. My friend Saif, he's part of a new group of mystics. They're called the Children of the Song. Now, I miss them all terribly, and, well, it's nice to be with you and Carlo, but I miss my old friends too. And I know my brother would be beside himself if I went by myself without telling him, so, well, I figure maybe I can go with you without telling him, and then he wouldn't have to worry, because you would be there to protect me, right?
Yeah, that's nice. Good to hear that they started up new groups. Children of the Song. Do they want? It's like whenever I hear people do stuff now, it always seems to be political or stuff like that. What are they doing?
I'm still trying to figure that out myself. I'm hoping that that meeting them will reveal a bit more. Saif seems very happy. And he hasn't been that since we lost Farouk, so I'm really looking forward to this. And you will follow her then?
Yeah, it sounds nice. Maybe I can help with something. Maybe, well, who knows? If anyone's hurt, I can patch someone up, and maybe I can, just being around a few mystics again. Maybe there's something to learn.
Yeah, maybe. So you're on Coriolis, you're walking through the hustle and bustle and chaos of the Noptra spaceport. Ships are being unloaded, there's last calls for passengers that are announced. You pass by the balconies and low tables of Madame Chari's chai house, where you and Carlo were waiting for Farouk after your heist on the Infoteca. All those... well... it feels like so much has happened since then. The excitement that followed, well, I mean, that never really stopped. It's been mostly non-stop after that day. But today is somehow a calmer day for you. You do notice how people sometimes look at you and notice your face, perhaps recognizing you as one of the heroes of Uharu that they saw on their screens on the Cyclade celebrations, or perhaps noticing your biosculpts. But it does seem like your 15 minutes of big fame is up. There are other news that are dominating the feeds now. The Bulletin keeps doing news stories about the crimes of the Order of the Pariah, interviewing family members of the victims of the mysticides in Coriolis, and those who have lost friends and family in Uharu. Unsurprisingly, the Order is blamed for what happened there as well. And perhaps they should be. They blockaded the system after all. People are still not really ready to hear about any butterfly ships from the First Horizon, in any case, nor the return of the Nazarene's sacrifice, a faction that should have been destroyed a century ago. Aisha leads you to a wall, and there's an alley here. On this wall in the alley, you see graffiti that you haven't seen before. And it says, "We are the answer to your prayers. When the night is closing in, we are the light of peace." And Aisha points this way.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I look back to where we came from and, yeah, seeing the old cafe and everything. Alright, yeah. Whew. Did you see people looking at me back then, or is that just me?
Yeah, you're a celebrity, Peg. Do you like that?
Well, you saw the broadcast, right? You saw yourself what happened, and I guess I kind of do.
And you'll remember that the violence, everything there at the end, they cut away from that. So The people, they didn't see that. They just saw the speeches, the grand speeches about the heroes of Uharu.
I keep talking a bit casually and idly about that. But then I also kind of realize as we go down this alley, hey, did we lose a year? Or did we gain a year? Am I still 25 cycles, or am I now 26? Did I miss a birthday? Did we miss birthdays?
I haven't really thought about that. The boy, though, he looks the same as he looked before. It's like he didn't age, right?
No.
I guess we didn't either.
You would have noticed on him, at least.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess I still am 25 then. That's weird. Everyone else aged a cycle.
Yeah, that's really weird. And she moves into the alley. Will you follow?
Yeah, I do come with.
There's a group of young people that are huddled against what must be a beam on the outer hull of the station. They have their ears against it, as if they're listening intently to something. A young man, Aisha's age, sees the both of you, and he comes up to her with a big smile, kissing her on the cheeks. Sister Aenid, please, safe. Aisha is fine. Without Farouk here, it just pains me too much to use that name. She holds up an icon pendant to Saif. It's a silhouette of a young girl with a golden headdress, a burning heart, and a body full of stars. She's clutching an oblong black toy top, a popular symbol for Coriolis. Normally the toy top contains incense and is spun on to symbolize the station's movement above Kua. Thank you for this, she says to Saif. Yes, Kari Kanan, our machine icon, the new aspect of the messenger, the whisper of the emissary. And he calls to some other people who are here. Let me introduce you to Masar, Zahir, and Nawa. They lead our little group here. And 2 young men and a woman in humble clothing take Aisha's hand, and they will take yours too, if you let them.
Yeah, I'll go over and I'll kind of greet them in a friendly kind of way. Hi, I'm Pig. Feel like I recognize some of you. How you doing?
And they look at you with kindness and acceptance. You feel welcome in a way that I don't know that you often feel necessarily. You spend a lot of time around Zenithians, and there's always that little disdain against firstcomers. But these people, they're welcoming you as one of their own, as a member of the family, even though they don't know you yet. How does that make you feel?
I feel like throughout this journey I've started to relax a bit. Like, I'm not as nervous around people that I used to be. Not as awkward, not as stumbling. And I started to feel a bit more kinship with some of them. Just thinking about it, like all we did with Farouk and, the crew. That's somehow loosened something up. And especially having gained Aisha, that I regard as a sister now. I feel kind of open in a way to having more friends, almost more of a family. So it feels very nice. I feel, I try to smile back at them and I'll say, thanks for making me feel welcome. I miss Farouk too, and it's good to see some of his family in you.
And they smile at you, and Saif speaks to Aisha. Come, listen with us. Friend, you should listen too. And they point to you. And Aisha puts her ear towards the beam of the hull here. What do you do, Pig? Do you also listen, or do you stand back?
I feel a little bit apprehensive. Maybe this is a mystic thing that I can't hear. listening against the beam? But I want to, if I can. So I do move up and smile a bit awkwardly. Yeah, I'll listen.
You do, and there is something there. It's faint, but it's there. It's a soothing song. Voice reminds you of Farouk. It says, Kari Kanan ila alabad. Kari Kanan ila alabad. And the group begin chanting the words together. Will you chant with them, or is this too much of a heresy for you?
To me, I'm not sure. I think this is heresy. I think what is happening with them, all the mystics coming together and existing, there's almost like a counterbalance to the heresy that I call the emissaries, that people call the emissaries, that to me are the real heretics. This might be something else. I feel a lump in my stomach, almost recognizing Farouk's voice. And I start to slowly say the words along with them.
You do. And you chant in unison, and you are together, and you're repeating these words. The words of the machine icon. It comes to an end. And as you leave the group, Aisha again hugs you. Thank you, Pig. I so wanted to see them. Thank you for giving me the courage to do so.
And as we left, I told them all that I wanted to know more about their kind, about the gift that they're all carrying, that it is, well, a fascination of mine. And I'm being a bit more open about that. I always felt like it was some kind of sick obsession. Well, not necessarily. For me, it was real. But I feel like everyone else would judge me if I told them about it. And of course, that sounds fully reasonable, with my intentions being of cutting one of them open and understanding how it works from the inside. But now, maybe there are other ways to learn about what it actually is. So I say that, and as Aisha hugs me and thanks me, I say, yeah, well, listen, if you know, just tell me again if they want to meet. I'll come with. It's just so you're safe. And if they need my help with anything, I mean, if they're keeping a bit under the radar, I can do that too. I'm a pretty good medic, as you might know.
I know. I'm sure you'd be very welcome. Well, I'll let you know the next time I see them. But it'll be our secret. I don't want Azam to worry.
Sure. I mean, he's got his things to think about anyways, I guess.
You're heading back to the Red Moon. You end up getting separated from Aisha. And there was something that you were supposed to procure for Al-Halim. Perhaps this will be a good time to arrange that and to make the final preparations for getting it shipped off to him. What was it that he asked for, and, well, how did you secure it?
Originally, he was looking for sensitive equipment when it comes to equipping the laboratories and getting the final things in there. Some high-tech things that only the Zenithians would have access to, at least with their kinds of modifications that he thought would be suitable. So I started kind of asking a little bit around and seeing who I could talk to, using both my new contacts at Kua and also some of the old friends from the syndicate, pairing together who I could talk to. Finally got in contact with an old researcher, and it turned out when I started asking about this equipment that I wanted, that this guy wanted to know a little bit too much for my own comfort. I was like, crap, he's going to not give me his stuff. He's going to want to know more, and he's going to blow the whole thing open. But as it turned out, this old geezer was actually fed up with the bureaucracy around making new research. Well, or just sticking to the old guns. And so I found someone that wanted to know more himself, maybe even help out. So he, along with one of his junior researchers that also was an up and coming, didn't completely want to graduate, want to do things the old orthodox way. Both of them were now going to make their way over to Al-Walim with this equipment that was needed as well.
Yes, and you arranged all that. And with any luck, this will help Al-Walim to speed up the preparations for his laboratory and for the big project that he is working on. The project that you know will help change the horizon. For the better.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what they're actually gonna make. They'll all be remade in the traditional pictures of the icons. And pure and new. Not like what's being forced upon us and fed to us through the idiocy that is the emissaries and what everyone else just choose to believe because it's convenient.
Indeed. We will then jump back to the present again. And you are on the bridge of the Red Moon, and Aisha is speaking to you. So just as a reminder then, our mission is to first get to the Temple City of Lotus, then speak with the sister of the missing Vahid. Her name is Lala. There are some issues in the communication between the daughter and father, and the hope is that we can have more success. She's temporarily set up in a living module in the City of Pilgrims over an extended Cyclade break, and you have the address to this place. You could also try to speak to the local law enforcement, the Latifs, but the father had supposedly attempted this several times without any success. We will also not actually be able to land in the Temple City of Lotus. It's a no-fly zone, and no vehicles are allowed within 20 kilometers. This is partially because the area suffered a massive earthquake in the past and has remained seismically somewhat unstable, and also to prevent the local Dars from sending in their ships and attempting to seize the city by force. The place is ruled by the Lotus Sisters today, having made a deal with the consortium, more specifically the Foundation. They give the sisters defensive weapons, including an incredibly powerful Mangler anti-air system, and the Foundation gets to do archaeological excavations at what is called the Wound, a seemingly bottomless ravine that is believed to date back to the portal builders. This arrangement has kept the Dars at bay and the sisters in power. And I can give you a brief overview of the Lotus Sisters here, and where they come from, just so you have that. The Lotus Sisters is a splinter group from the Circle of Seekers. The Seekers are one of the few cults within the Church of the Icons that can trace their lineage all the way back to the Second Horizon. They're generally ascetics and have a different interpretation on some aspects on the Icon faith, such as the existence of an afterlife, instead of believing that the spirit is reunited with the Icons in the eternal Aum. They also see each Icon as providing a way to reach that enlightenment. A mere 15 years before the beginning of the Portal Wars, the Circle of Seekers, having tirelessly cared for the city's pilgrims through a tumultuous series of coups and usurpers, were entrusted with governing Lotus. Then a growing contingent of female seeker prophets and philosophers within the faction, known as the Lotus Sisters, made sure the city saw a new golden age. While the Church of the Icons consider the two official pilgrim sites to be the Dome of the Icons on Coriolis and the Icon City on Mira, this place, the Temple City of Lotus, is also a very popular destination, and the Church of the Icons have been under heavy pressure to make this location an official pilgrimage destination as well. So anyway, no heavy machinery or ships are allowed. We're supposed to take the ship to the Basgora spaceport and to travel from there. Walk, dromedary, or be carried in a palanquin. It'll be your choice. Knowing this then, what do you bring with you on this mission to Dabaran and to the Temple City of Lotus?
As always, it seems best to travel light, so I'll take my standard good old Vulcan cricket and my lovely shiny twin carbine, as well as my armors, my computer tablets, and, well, I'll probably confer with Pig on some sort of appropriate dress. Again, we're entering another Well, everyone on Dabaran is heavily into their religion, aren't they? There's going to be lots of icon worshipping and all that. Have any of the emissaries actually ever come to this place? You said it was super important to the religion. Have they actually made personal appearances ever?
The emissaries have not appeared on Dabaran, no. It's a bit unclear where most of the emissaries are. One, the judge, is on Foundation Station 7, and then we have the messenger emissary that appeared on Coriolis. And the others, there have been rumors of sightings in various parts of the horizon, but you have not specifically heard of any sightings on a high-profile location like Dabaran.
In that case, yes, I'll have us... As always, I have my lovely fake identity, so I'll make sure that we prepared a couple for me and Pig, saying we are simply travelling pilgrims eager to, well, as you said, see the sights.
You have pilgrim clothes, you know how you're supposed to be dressed. There's going to be a lot of pilgrims there. It's pretty close to the Cyclade still. A lot of people have taken the opportunity to make the journey here now. So you know it's going to be very crowded, and that's a good thing because it will make it easier for you to blend in. What have you, Pig? What have you brought?
Well, at this point, I've gathered a whole bunch of weapons. I've got a Vulcan pistol and an accelerator pistol. I got the custom Legionnaire carbine, and I got my accelerator rifle. These are things that I like carrying around. Something about all that weight makes me feel almost like a suit of armor. Yeah. But what am I supposed to be doing here? Well, not that. But then again, we might run into any one of these NS idiots. At first, when we were discussing this, I wanted to take the grav bike and I just wanted to sweep around the place and the perimeter. But then, as Carlo came with the idea of us dressing up as pilgrims through his disguises, yeah, sure, maybe that makes a bit more sense. And just go there on foot. So, I'll bring that. I'll take along my usual setup of tools and the med kit. And, that's I guess it. My comm systems, computer.
Then the Red Moon sets down at the Basgura spaceport, located 20 kilometers from Lotus in the middle of the lowland deserts. The former servant city contains many oporias and bazaars, but you notice that there are surprisingly few temples here in Basgura. In the shadow of Lotus, there's seemingly not much unsatisfied want for religion. It's midday already, and the strong light from the star Dabaran A beats down on you as you exit the Red Moon. It's a desert, and it certainly feels like one. Sahib, this area is hit by frequent red iron storms. I'll place the Red Moon in orbit above the temple city so that we don't get stranded. Iron storms. This is something you have heard of. They're sometimes referred to as the face of the judge. In the iron-rich deserts, a ground charge builds up, pulling microscopic sand particles up into the atmosphere, and then throwing them across the plains. These charged particles find their way into every nook and cranny of vehicles and exos, and can even affect shuttle traffic departing for orbit. These storms sometimes last for days, and the Mathematical Institute in Dada regularly issues warning predictions about coming storms, but they can sometimes come quite late.
Right, well, good thing I'm not bringing the exo. It could take me months to clear that stuff out if it gets into it.
Indeed, though I will make sure to pack a few extra face masks just in case.
You do. Aisha and the boy wave to you from the cockpit window as your AI Suleiman then takes off, unless you would like to say something to them before you leave.
Just, as always, Aisha, stay on the ship, don't do anything crazy. We'll be right back. We're just going to go and find a missing person. It will probably turn out that they're firmly in some sort of building full of armed religious fanatics. We'll probably have to kill them all, but it'll be fine. We'll be back before you can say mouse.
She smiles.
As Carlo turns away, I say, under my breath, yeah, and if you hear something, just let us know, alright? I believe you can do this, okay?
And she nods to you. Thank you, Peg. Yes, I will. Aisha and the boy then wave to you from the cockpit window as your AI Suleiman takes off. And You are now here in the Baskor spaceport, and quite quickly a man catches your attention. He's older, wearing a dark kaftan. He's got a gentle smile. I know that ship.
Oh, do you now? I look at him. Anyone I recognize?
Oh, you don't. Can't say that you do. He does look like he's from here, that he is a Dabaranian. The Alkamar Alamar. Fine ship. You're its new captain?
Yeah, I look to Carlo. Yep, that's me. We've been with it for quite some time. Who did you know that piloted it before?
I knew the old captain. Farouk.
Oh.
Do you know whatever happened to him?
Depends who's asking. What's your deal with Farouk?
I'm just old Ramza. I work as a cobbler here in Baskura. You can roll empathy.
Nah, no success.
Carlo?
That's 3 6s.
Well, then, yes, he is more than what he seems. He's certainly not a cobbler. Just like Farouk was not just a courtesan. Same kind. Davak, you gather. Dabaran, secret police.
I click my teeth a little and simply say, truth be told, we don't know. We briefly, I think Captain, looking at Pig, I think you spoke with them once, and, well, then we haven't seen them since. They were quite eager to sell the ship. They said they had big things they were moving on to.
Huh. Well, that is a pity then. I'd hope to see him again.
Well, maybe you will one day, my friend. Maybe one day you will, but forgive me, we have urgent... The icons do not wait for any man.
That is true. They do not. Well, I wish you luck, he says, smiling. And old Ramza, the cobbler, leaves you.
I lean over to Pig quietly and say, secret police. I think we want to try and avoid them if we can for now. We do not know where their allegiances lie.
Yeah. Oh. How did you know?
Well, you don't do what I do without getting quite good at reading, well, whenever people are involved in the same sort of thing, you know? He probably is deeply suspicious of us, probably knows more about us than he was saying, but let's just let them make the first move. They're going to.
Yeah, I guess. That's what this is the kind of stuff that I miss having Farouk around for, talking to people. I don't want to go to anyone, especially not the police, trying to convince them that we want to help. If people want to help, then they could just ask and let us, know everything.
Farouk did have a way with words, it's true. At the end of the day, sometimes that slowed us down. Personally, I think you and I work a lot quicker sometimes. Just find what we need to find and get on with it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. If you say so.
Yes. And with those words, you begin making the preparations for the journey to the temple city of Lotus. You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying where we play the campaign Mercy of the Icons for Coriolis, which is published by Free League. In this third part, we're taking on The Last Cyclade. The music was created by AlphaZone and Sabled Sun, and was used with permission from their label, Cryochamber. Please check out cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for more of their lovely dark ambient. We also used the official Coriolis soundtrack by Stars on the Black Sea. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, Camilla, Bob Lange, Cameron, Graham Barey, Doug Thomson, Lily, Mike Parker, and Maciej for their generous support. And we would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of Infinity Lost, Call of Cthulhu, and Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay there. And you can also get early and raw access to all of our recordings and hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play some Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember that Uhaya has traversed the darkness to guide us.